Hey there, YouTube. How's everybody doing out there today? Not anything new here. It is just crazy hot. That heat wave continues, but we've got a little relief coming this weekend. Basically, we're going from the upper 90s this week to the lower 90s next week, so that's a bit of an improvement. Anyhow, today I wanted to talk about kind of a connection for me between plant based food, staying centered, and what I consider practical meditation from my practice. This, even though food is included in a very vague and general, not a vague, but a general way, it's really not a video about food today. I just thought I would share a little bit as I've been kind of stepping out of the normal videos recently. Now, people spend their whole days. I've been doing a mostly raw vegan lifestyle for 10 years. But like I say, I'm never really here to recruit or tell you you should do something. Like I say, this channel's just always kind of been me sharing what keeps me sane up in the head. And basically, I see too many people, however you eat, even the raw people out there that are just too focused on the food. It's always, there's this fanaticism, there's this obsession with getting a little cleaner. Oh, I can do this, I can do that. And so many people I'm like, okay, even if you're eating perfectly, let's just say for argument's sake, you're eating perfectly. But if you have all this energy during the day of constantly arguing with somebody, constantly beating somebody over the head, trying to bring them into the fold. I'll tell you this, no matter how you eat, whether you're a fully raw vegan, whether you eat whole food plant-based, whether you eat keto, whether you eat carnivore, however you eat, not important in this kind of right here about what I'm saying. I don't see anybody. Everybody's screaming at each other. Everybody's trying to knock each other over the head with their beliefs. But I never see any change coming from that. All I see is just people arguing back and forth, creating animosity, slinging insults, and doing this and that. So, just something to think about is at some point you need to get a little bit beyond the food. And just not constant. And that's also too why I encourage people to just go ahead and do whatever they're going to do. If you're trying to be a raw vegan out there, get to it or don't. If you can't be a raw vegan, if you've been trying for 3 or 4 years, see the writing on the wall and maybe figure out a version of the whole food plant-based diet that you can do before you do such a bad job trying to be raw that you have to go in totally opposite direction. But whatever you do, you've got, like, if the food, even if you're eating perfectly but it's not bringing you any calm, it's just kind of useless in my way of thinking. So staying centered, but the food has been important for me. The way that I eat, totally different than how I ate in the past. I used to live, the last about 6 months before I became vegan, I was living on fried chicken and beer most every day, living in a little dirtbag hotel. I used to smoke meat. I used to barbecue. So I've eaten a lot of different things. It's not just like I'm one of those people that came out of the womb, gazing at my navel and never ate meat or never did certain things. This particular way I eat, for me, just kind of gives me a calmer energy. It gives me an energy where I can go inside more. And when I go inside, that's where I do the real work. That's why, like I say, most people come to this channel for the food talk, and that's why I mostly do the food talk, because if I do something else on the meditation, the breath work, or a lot of the practices that I now, after, having done the food thing for about 10 years, find to be my most important practices and what really keeps me going. The food, I've just been kind of on autopilot for the food for several years. I eat a very clean version, high raw vegan diet. I don't stress if I eat cooked food, if I allow myself something from time to time that's not on my everyday. I'm just not, just not so focused on every bite of the food that goes into my body. But the thing that keeps me centered is my meditation practice. And the reason I've got it kind of like that, staying centered and practical meditation, is because, and once again, when I talk about meditation, I always like to preface by saying I'm not a long-time practitioner. I'm not a teacher and I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I think that I think that we all, at every stage that we are of anything, have something that we can bring to the table. And like sometimes when you have the very practiced expert meditation teachers, it can be a little intimidating to people that have never meditated or never even thought about this, or have certain kind of stereotypes about meditation and certain prejudices in their head about, no, I can't meditate. So I like to call it practical meditation. And I call it also practical meditation because I like to take my practice and use it in real life, everyday situations, and get it away from where I actually sit and do my meditation. And that's kind of why I'm in the lower light. I'm sitting in the spot where I normally do my meditation. I've got this little condition that causes me to have kind of inflammation in my rib cage, so I tend to sit when I meditate. And sometimes if it really gets stiff on me, I'll even lay in Savasana, the final corpse pose in yoga, and do my meditation there. But for the last year, I'm pretty much back up to a year of daily meditation, not missing a day, every day, every day, every day. I don't know why the calendars. I have funny issues with the calendar. I don't really pay that much attention to it, but then I do. I've already been kind of taking some steps. Like the last 2 or 3, 4 weeks, I've started meditating sometimes twice a day. I've tried to shift my meditation, especially when I'm just going to do it one time a day, from the evening to the morning. There's just, I can't really put into words or express like the difference I feel when I start my day off by a little bit of meditation. Now, just for reference sake, when I say meditation and when I say practical meditation, and I think I'm going to lean towards a book that I've kind of got sketched out a little bit, which is about meditation for everybody. There's just a very simple, practical way to do it. My meditation is mostly mindfulness. It's breath awareness. It's paying attention to the breath. And that's what, like I say, it can kind of cross a little bit when I'm doing breath work, because when I'm doing breath work, I'm not going in with the mindset like I'm meditating, but I'm focusing on my breath. I'm breathing in for a certain amount, I'm holding for a certain amount, then I'm releasing for a certain amount. And when I do that, the same as when I'm just being aware of my breath during meditation, I'm meditating, because so those lines kind of get blurred. Is it breath work? Is it meditation? Is it both? Now that I'm doing breath work, I'm considering sometime after maybe in the next few months, once I'm a year into daily practice, I've considered this for a while. Just wanted to make sure that I was really on the path this time, that I'm really in a place where now daily meditation is part of my life. And I'm thinking about learning transcendental meditation. And the reason I'm thinking about doing that is, a lot of the stuff I've read about it, and I've got a book by the original founder of it. I think I could go a little bit deeper with it than I can with the breath awareness. Although I would always use the breath awareness, and that's where we get into practical meditation. And that's how I take my breath meditation, my mindfulness meditation, away from where I sit, away from my proper where I sit for, say, I usually meditate for anywhere between 20 and 30 minutes when I sit. But when I'm taking it off the mat, even though I'm not on a mat, I like to use off the mat and use it in everyday life. That's all it is right there. And that is such a powerful tool. And that's why I try to just kind of keep hammering this and sharing it and hoping people will catch various little sparks by different things I say that might, make them a little bit more interested. A lot of times it's no more than, and it also, one thing about my meditation practice that it's helped with a lot is I almost feel like I slow down time. I almost feel like I slow down everything in dealing with things in life now. Like, say I'm out in traffic or I'm in a store and I start to get annoyed with people or this or that. I'm just able to just step back. And usually all it is really just taking 2 or 3 conscious breaths. It really is that simple of just stopping. You're in a stressful situation, or you're about to get angry, you're about to say something, you're about to respond. Always just stop for a minute. Even if you're not doing any sort of meditation now, just stop before you possibly are about to step into something that you'll regret, or just get angry about something and maybe exaggerate it. Just stop. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in deeply, breathe out deeply. Do this, if maybe you got time to take 10 deep in and out breaths. Maybe you've only got time to take 1 or 2. It helps. Believe me, it helps. And it gives you a little bit of a chance to cool down. It gives you a little bit of a chance for any emotions you're feeling, for the emotions to kind of come down, and for you to make good decisions, not blow up at somebody, or, just simply not be in a state of being that you don't want to be in, of agitation, which is very important to me because, over the last few years, as I've told you in videos, spending all the time I have by myself, I've had anxiety, I've had a little bit of depression here and there, and this really helps me. This really helps me in situations. It helps me with my anxiety. Somebody had asked about anxiety the other day, and once again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not an expert on anxiety. And I think a lot of times when I say anxiety, I should qualify and say, like, I don't have panic attacks. I don't have anything that has manifested itself so far, I hope not, physically, like I feel like I'm having a heart attack or anything like that. So I kind of want to downplay what I call anxiety in the respect of people that really have some debilitating anxiety. Not sure if this would work. I'm not telling you to do this in place of anything else, but I've just found for me, and that's what I've talked about in some of the breathing stuff, that you can just consciously slow down. Slow down your heart rate, activate that vagus nerve. Look into talks on the vagus nerve, or the vagus nerve, VAGUS, and just slow things down. And kind of, I can, for the type of anxiety I have, just kind of regulate my breathing. And it's kind of hard to feel as anxious when I get my breathing regulated. So these are just practical tips that you can take with you every day. And I like that people keep reaching out to me. I always have my email below. I know I can be a little bit slow to respond sometime, but I've had a number of people reach out to me for some practical stuff on meditation. And the more people that reach out to me, the more I'm going to share. I might even start sharing, on a regular basis in different places or whatever, just depending on how many people are interested in it. But the takeaway from this is food is not, just don't make it this all day, everyday obsession that you're constantly talking about, thinking about, focused on. And also too, the last takeaway once again would be just like, don't have such, like, this meditation, if you need to get rid of the word meditation, if you need to just call it breath work or any other kind, I'm spacing on what else we might could call it, but just stress work, stress relief, anxiety relief, getting centered, whatever. Do that, because everybody can benefit from this, even if you don't see yourself, and you don't have to, sitting down on the floor in lotus position, or even just sitting in a comfortable chair like this and meditating. There's things that you can take from meditation practices, from breath work practices, and apply them day to day. And I'll tell you what, this far into things, kind of living a healthier life, having a different outlook, that is way what more keeps me sane now than the food. Like I say, the food's just kind of on autopilot. I'm not fanatic about trying to get to the perfect diet, because that's kind of like, you guys know I'm an NBA fan, and like any group you go into, all they're ever talking about is the GOAT. All they ever argue about. So it's one of those the only reason I said that, it's one of those arguments that's never going to be settled. People are always going to have their opinions. So don't lose your peace of mind over other people's differing opinions. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you like it, give me a thumbs up, share with your friends, invite somebody to watch, and I'll see you here again in a couple of days. Peace.